third guitar method lesson from Keeping Rock Alive. My name is Sean. Now that we know how to position the instrument and how to tune it, we're going to talk about how to position your arms and hands when playing, as well as how to hold the guitar pick properly. Holding the guitar pick is something which should be paid particular attention to, as a lot of guitarists tend to overlook it and then they develop a bad habit of holding it in an inefficient or uncomfortable way. I recommend using heavy or medium gauge picks. I tend to use extremely heavy gauge. This is a 3mm pick, and I just find that they offer the most control. To hold the pick, you want to begin by curving the fingers on your right hand inward, and then placing the guitar pick on the top of your index finger, and then placing your thumb over top of that. So it should look something like this. An extremely important aspect of holding the guitar pick is the amount of pick which is exposed from your fingers. This is something which varies from player to player but should be kept in mind. You don't want too large of a portion of the pick to be exposed, as it will make it difficult to maintain control and be precise with your picking. However, not having enough pick exposed, you may not have enough surface area to strike the string correctly. Because of this, you should try and find a good balance of control and playability with the pick by experimenting using different amounts of exposure. Next, I'm going to talk about positioning the right arm and hand on the instrument. Like all other positioning on the guitar, our goal should be to maintain a consistently comfortable and relaxed technique. Place your right arm over the instrument with the base of your wrist and the lower part of your palm resting on the top of the bridge. Do not anchor your wrist in a way which makes it difficult to switch strings by putting a lot of tension on your wrist and making it bend in uncomfortable ways. You want to make sure that your wrist is relatively straight and relaxed. Once you have found a comfortable place for your hand and wrist, there are two ways of positioning the remaining fingers. The first, which is what I use and find to be the most comfortable, is to keep the fingers curled at about the same angle as the index finger and picking this way. The second method, which is utilized by guitarists such as John Petrucci, is to use the remaining fingers which are not holding the pick as an anchor or reference point by placing them somewhere underneath the pickup. Both of these techniques are acceptable, but it may be a good idea to go with whichever one feels more natural and relaxed. Keep in mind that you will want to position your hand in a place that lets you pick the strings about halfway between the bridge and the neck for the best tone. Finally, we will focus on the left hand. There are two main ways of positioning the left hand on the instrument as well. With both of these techniques, keep your wrist relatively straight and relaxed. The first, which is utilized by jazz and classical players, but can be applied to any style of music, is achieved by placing the thumb directly on the center of the back of the neck and leaving your fingers free over the strings. This may be difficult for beginners or those with less hand strength because of having less contact with the neck. However, this technique is the one which I use a majority of the time for a couple of different reasons. First, it makes it easier to shift to different fret positions, treating the left hand as a singular unit. Secondly, once the technique is mastered, it can make it easier to play fast passages and runs. And finally, I use this technique because it will give you the opportunity to use different types of vibrato, or a slight change in pitch. The second technique of positioning the fretting hand is to place the thumb over the top of the neck and support your fingers with the underside of your knuckle. Also, make sure that you don't place the curve of the neck completely in the space between your thumb and index finger, as it will cause a lot of tension. This technique is more heavily utilized by rock players and also has a number of advantages from the other. The first being that it makes it much easier to bend the strings with the added grip on the neck. It also allows you to play certain chords by using the thumb on the lowest string of the guitar by reaching over the neck. Because both of these techniques have their own advantages, I often switch back and forth, depending on the musical situation. It will be easier for those with less developed hand muscles and beginners to begin with the rock approach, but I highly recommend mastering one and then becoming just as efficient with the other. This will help you greatly later on when you're tackling new musical styles and songs. Now that you know how to hold the guitar pick and position both of your arms and hands, we're going to start talking about actually playing the instrument in the next video. Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and tell me new things that you want to learn in this series. Thank you.